Recording is in progress. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to the Q&A tonight. These spaces are created to encourage asking questions about everything. If you know me, you know that I'm so passionate about questioning everything. I know myself included, and a lot of people, especially in the Western states, we do things every day. We do things, we say things, we think things, and a lot of things that do we even know why we think that way or why we do that? And just coming back with every decision we make. Why am I making this decision? So what I like to do in these spaces is make it where we can all learn from each other. It is a community effort. So when a question is asked, I will share my perspective and then I will open the floor up to everybody else. So, if somebody asks about something you have dealt with personally or you have some good insight on, I want you to feel comfortable sharing that. This is not my space. This is our space. All right. Again, please mute your microphones. The recording is going to be uploaded publicly. And there's Jose. Now the party can get started. All right. So let's see. Who wants to ask the first question? The question can be related to anything and everything: health, wellness, mental, physical, and spiritual health and wellness. And while I wait for some questions, I'm going to share with you about one of my favorite plants
I'm
to work
going to
with.
ask you a question right away.
Let's go.
What is your best? Okay, so I am gluten free normally, but I cheated, which I never do, and I did because oh my God, texture. Um, so then of course I started feeling all the feels that are horrible. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I don't do this. So I popped a Benadryl and I took an NSAID because like I just don't want to like be miserable. So what would be your holistic go-to to beat that oh my God, like that response?
I got you. Now, as long as you are not on any pharmaceuticals, St. John's wort is one of the best herbs to turn to. Especially for like sugar. If you eat sugar, and gluten and bread and the sugars that they produce. I like to use a tincture when I eat something that I know I probably shouldn't have and my body is responding how it should to inflammation. I will take 2 to 3 full droppers of St. John's wort, and it helps to mitigate the effects. It helps to help your body respond to excess sugar in the blood. It helps to reduce the inflammation. Also, too, you mentioned that you took a Benadryl and nettles. Nettles is my go-to for that antihistamine, anti-inflammatory response. And again, like if you want to make the tea and make a nice strong tea and wait for it to brew, awesome. But the tincture works so quickly. And one story that I like to share about nettles is I had a friend come over and she was allergic to my cat, and her face swelled up. Half of her face swelled up almost immediately. And so I took a paper towel and I soaked that paper towel in nettles and she put it over her face and held it there. And I was dosing her with 2 droppers of the nettles tincture every 15 minutes for about 45 minutes. But just that on her face, within 20 minutes, all of the swelling was gone. It was awesome. And within an hour, she was just hanging out with the cat, petting the cat, no reaction at all. So, and then another thing that I like to keep on hand for situations like this is turmeric and ginger capsules. And when I'm feeling super inflamed, especially triggered by food, I take like 5 to 8 of those at a time. And now I grind the roots up myself and put them in there myself, so it's safer. I do not recommend high dosage like that with turmeric extract because that's more of a drug and not natural anymore. It's more natural, but my little soapbox I get on, they isolate constituents, concentrate them down, they behave differently. So yeah, great question. Again, St. John's wort, nettles, and turmeric and ginger. Anybody else have any things that you go to when you eat some gluten or sugar or anything that your body doesn't respond well to? She wants to talk more about turmeric and ginger later. Nice. If you've got some questions about it, you can type them up. You can jump on, let me know. Those of you who have been rocking with these Q&As for a while now, I think you know that I love to take some calamus root, usually right before the call or on it. Calamus root is incredible for people who get anxious, who have to speak in front of crowds. But more than that, it's great for anxiety. It is one of the only, there's a few, there's not a lot of warming bitters. So that bitter, when you take something bitter, you can feel it. You can feel like chills going through your body. Your face might even scrunch up. And what bitters do is they really help to activate the liver and get it moving, cool it off. But because it's warming, it's more stimulating to the liver. Um, but what my favorite thing about it for anxiety is it really helps to shift you into that parasympathetic nervous system. It takes you out of that anxious fight or flight and almost immediately will help you to feel safe and calm and regulated. Let's see. Amy says, what would you suggest for shaking hands and legs? Well, there's a few things. One, magnesium oil, and some more magnesium oil. Putting it generously all over the top and bottoms of your feet every night, but honestly, from your knee down. And then in the mornings, doing your hands up to your elbows. What else? Damiana would be one of my go-tos. Damiana and mixed with some meadow sweet. What those do is they really help to relax the muscles, the tendons, the blood vessels, the tissues. I'm obsessed with like blood and the vessels that carry it and all of the tissues that need it, which is basically everything. But you know, our blood, if you think about our blood, it is the liquid that carries nutrients to the tissue, collects waste and carries it away from the tissues to be excreted from the body. So being able to relax these tissues that carry the blood, that nourish the nerves, it helps to just that nourish the nerves, soothe them, calm them. So again, Damiana, meadow sweet, magnesium oil, a nice hot bath with some magnesium flakes in it, lavender. You can drink lavender, you can smell some lavender essential oil, you can put some in your bathtub. Does anybody else have any suggestions for the shaking hands and legs?
Yeah, this is Mayor Cameron. What about like Passiflora leaf, passion fruit leaf?
Now, some
I don't.
people can feel an immediate effect from passion flower, the leaf and the flower, while other people, passion flower, and when I say passion flower, I'm referring to the flowers and the leaves, the aerial parts. It is known as a nervine. And nervines, while again, some people can feel them immediately, they serve better when taken consistently every day over a long period of time. And I'm so glad you mentioned that because the shaking hands and legs is clearly a neurological symptom. Drinking passion flower every day will help to restore those. That's what nervines do. They restore the nervous system.
Got it. What
That's awesome.
about? But sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying that's awesome.
Oh, what about Bacopa Minieri, which we have an abundance of here in Florida, at least?
Yep. Again, oh, I love it. Thank you. Again, that's another one that if now Bacopa, you can definitely feel the effects of that pretty quickly. Most people can if their body is responsive. Um, And what Bacopa is really doing is increasing circulation to the peripherals. And by increasing circulation to the peripherals, we're increasing nutrient flow, waste reduction. So that would be something if somebody was suffering from shaking hands and legs that they would take that every day.
Got it. What would be an easy preparation for that for those that know what it looks like, see it? Would you dry it, make it into a tea? Would you press it? Would you isolate it in alcohol?
So easy preparation would be if you're like harvesting it, drying it, make a tea. But also like the easier way to take it is through a tincture. You know, it's just less work. It works quicker. But anybody that's going out and foraging this stuff, it's a process regardless. So if you're already, especially if you can forage enough that you dry it, you've got some for tea and you can make a tincture, that's best. And while tinctures are my favorite thing, I love tinctures. They are one of my favorites. Water is the best menstruum. We are hydroelectric beings. So drinking tea not only helps to deliver the medicine to the cells better, but it also hydrates you. But tinctures, they can store in your medicine cabinet for up to 20 years, even longer, and they enter the bloodstream faster. So, like what Summer had mentioned at the beginning, if you ate something that your body's not responding well to, you want to get relief as quick as possible. So, the tinctures are going to work faster, but the tea is going to nourish better. Thank you. Anybody else?
I just want to reiterate the importance, like for like shaking hands or feet or anything that's presenting nerve wise, or really most things. It's going to take that continuous effort in investing in calming your body, basically. So, I mean, you can't expect to even take all the tinctures, holy basil, chamomile, like everything calming all at once, all day. Like, you're still going to be a wreck. But yeah, massage. I was thinking about massage because I am a massage therapist and have been for so long. And I have a client that is suffering terribly from probably multiple things. And one of it is the shaking. And anything we have is obviously probably a combination of many different things that are presenting. But massage, you really can receive, and it applies like that pressure and that rhythm to the nervous system that's just, especially if you have somebody that's truly caring for you. Um, this one client that I have has just been responding so well. And she's just like, she's geriatric. I think she's probably in her mid 70s. And she's never had massage professionally in her whole life until this juncture, which is so sad. But it happens to so many people because we think it's this bougie, non-healthcare thing, but it really does support the nervous system. And not just massage, but anything that you can do that can apply pressure to your body and giving yourself also just like some kind of comfort. Like there's a reason like when we do this to ourselves, like give ourselves a hug or something that we get like some comfort, and it does work on our nervous system. So just even if like we all suffer from isolation, and so just like the compression and love that we can give ourselves can be huge for
I love that.
shaking things.
I'm so glad you said that. And I just want to stress her point a little more. I have gotten a massage every 2 weeks for the last 5 years. And it's not a luxury. They're definitely not that fun. They actually kind of hurt at first. But I really, if I don't know that I would be able to do everything that I do, work 7 days a week, juggle all of these things as well as I do, and be as well as I am if I did not get regular massages. Again, they're not a luxury, they're not some sweet treat. You owe it to yourself to do what you have to do, to put the money away, find a good massage therapist, and do that for yourself. Let's see. And then Summer, while I've got you here, Becky says, has anyone else had stomach issues with nettles? And I want to make it clear that it was a nettles tincture. And you're one of the more seasoned herbalists here. Oh, Ray's here too. She's the bomb. So either of you, if you have any experience of somebody having stomach pains when taking nettles, working with nettles, let me know. Have you?
I've known people that have had probably issues with everything. And there's people that will be like, oh, when I take valerian, it makes me stay awake. I don't know. Like if people have stomach issues, that is a telltale sign that they need deeper healing. Nettles is most herbs, I think, if your stomach and your gut and the way that you're processing your emotions and holding them, you should be it shouldn't cause a problem, especially if you're eating it or taking it with food. You know, if we have an empty stomach, that's a whole nother thing. And that's a really good way too to find out if you're responding to something specifically. But you know, make sure that they have some, like a lot of times just taking a tablespoonful of oil can really help a lot of things because I don't like to eat in the morning when I need to take a lot of things.
Like olive oil, coconut oil.
Any kind of oil. It's
Okay.
just having some fat in
Okay.
there. And so yeah, olive oil, I hate it, so bitter. Coke. You know what though? It's all medicine and you get used to it, you know, but one thing that's really good, like if you're just taking the oil as um to supplement to help your body to digest something, like olive oil and coconut oil we go to regularly because you can cook with them. They have a higher smoke point. So that's why I always have them. And then they're also tasty. You know, we like them, but you know, apricot oil, almond oil, grapeseed oil. There's so many yummy oils that are healthy for us that don't have that high um ability. Like you have to have them colder. So it's a really great way to like I would say that probably apricot oil, grapeseed oil, those are probably the easiest to get down and they're very healthy for you. You just can't stir fry your vegetables.
And make sure that when you get these oils that they are cold pressed. Always cold pressed. If they're not cold pressed, they're toxic to the body. But I'm really glad you mentioned that about valerian. I want to share the reason why some people take valerian and it actually keeps them awake at night is because valerian is actually a warming herb. And when people already kind of have a hot liver, remember that heat rises. That is why people who are prone to anger, they usually have a stagnant liver. And that is my first thing I target when somebody struggles with anger. And if anybody in here can feel that and relate to that, one of the best things that I think is to spray some magnesium oil over your liver and then follow that with a nice amount of castor oil and then a clean rag and a heating pad. That will, and if you can do that daily, that's going to help to move fluid and blood through your liver, start to cool that tissue off. So yeah, valerian is pretty warming. I know I can't take valerian, but I've got people like I only make it for the people who they just love it. And if it works for you, it works awesome. And if it doesn't, that's why I tell people if they've never worked with it before, I tell them like I can't guarantee this will help you to sleep. So just let me know and I'll replace it if it doesn't. But thank you for sharing all of that. I really love that. So back to the original question, I like too how you brought up, that there might be some emotions that aren't being processed. And also one thing I know when it comes to healing, it's called the healing crisis, and it's real. It's when things get worse before they get better. And every step that you take, things are going to come up and they're going to be uncomfortable. Or my favorite physical example to use when I'm working with rashes, I like to work from the inside out. So we kind of push that rash out. So it usually gets a little bit worse at first, and people get concerned. They're like, what are you doing? And I tell them, just wait, stay on it, stay consistent, and then it starts to clear up. And then Natalie had a question. And if anybody wants to butt in, just butt in. Um, Natalie said, what's a better replacement for aspirin for someone who has had strokes? One of my favorite things is meadowsweet. Meadowsweet, white willow bark gets a lot of the credit for making aspirin, but truly meadowsweet was one of the first herbs that they got that salicylic acid from. And not only does it reduce systemic inflammation in the body, but when you drink it as a tea, it will reverse the damage done to your intestinal lining from NSAID, aspirins, pharmaceuticals. It soothes and repairs that tissue. Some more go-tos for things like that. Like I'm assuming this person is, well, you said this since that person has had a stroke. So I have some more questions. Are they taking the aspirin for the blood thinning properties? Were they directed by their doctor to take it for that? Or are they taking the aspirin for the pain? If they're taking it for the blood thinning properties, one of the best things that I could recommend is cayenne pepper. and you can cook in it. You can take it as capsules. I actually have a funny story about the capsules, you guys. I was in a rush one day. I had just eaten. I took two cayenne capsules when I meant to just take one. And like 15 minutes later, I'm out walking the dogs. And all of a sudden, one of those capsules like exploded in my chest. But I had forgot that I took it. And I'm like, oh man, something's wrong. And I'm getting a little worried, but I'm trying to walk it off. I'm playing it cool. But then it starts getting worse. And I'm like, am I having a freaking heart attack right now? I see you laughing, Mario. And then I get up to the front of the neighborhood and I had to tie the dogs up and I'm down on the ground, just sweating. Like, wow, I think I'm gonna die. This is crazy. And then it hit me. I was like, oh, I took cayenne capsules. So I rushed home, took a couple tablespoons of yogurt. Less than 4 minutes, it was gone. So I definitely recommend, like, if you're gonna take the capsules, either take it 15 minutes before food. Everybody's laughing. You guys are hilarious. Take it 15 minutes before food or 15 minutes after food, so it will digest properly. So cayenne pepper, if you're looking for the blood thinning properties, meadow sweet, turmeric and ginger for the inflammation. Some people that the ginger is a little too warming, so just turmeric by itself. But when I tell you guys, so keep in mind, I've been through two windshields. I've had several car accidents, lots of physical accidents. So I know pain. And when my neck, especially the side that got stuck in the windshield, gets all locked up, that's why I take a handful. I'll take 5 to 8 of just the pure turmeric with ginger in it. And in less than 20 minutes, it just all loosens up. Sometimes I'll get a nice crack, which they say you shouldn't do that, but I guess I'm addicted to it. I don't know. I dig it. And yeah, does anybody else have anything to chime in about the aspirin replacements? All right, let's see. Let's see. Mario, yes, Summer is in Florida, and I will send her your phone number. She is up in Jacksonville, but she's worth it. Gloria says, Nettles has been very grounding. How much Nettles should we be taking if we recently got chiggers so our antihistamines are up? So that's a good question. And it really depends too on what form are you using. I love the tincture for kind of times like this. You've been exposed to chiggers, your histamines are up, your immune system is responding. Um, and what I, especially with the histamine, like when I have people come to my booth and they're all swollen and stuffy and sometimes even runny, and because their allergies are getting them, I have them take 1 to 2 full droppers of the nettle tincture every hour for a few hours, and then maintain that dose at 2 full droppers 2 to 3 times a day until the bottle's gone, which usually lasts about a week after they've hit it hard. But if you have the tea, I and now, mind you, everybody play around, get to know your body and your taste. I make strong medicine, so I would use like a tablespoon to a cup of the nettles. Or, for instance, like this is probably a little more than a quart, and I probably put like 5 tablespoons or more worth of herbs in here. Um, One fact about nettles that I want to share while I have it on my mind is a lot of people, especially vegans, will turn to nettles for their mineral content. And if you are a vegan and you are trying to get the mineral content from your nettles, you have to eat the leaves after you've drank your tea. Otherwise, you're not getting sufficient minerals or amino acids to create the proteins. And I found that really, really fascinating. Jose said I get a hydro massage at Planet Fitness. Does that count? I mean, it's not nothing, it definitely has nothing on the physical touch, having another human being there to really tune into your body, listen to its needs and try to meet those needs. But it's definitely better than nothing. But I wouldn't say it compares to getting an actual massage. Summer said, "Wow, anger and valerian, yeah." So I would even see it like anger because valerian is warming. Oh, now I'm so curious, Summer. I'm gonna have to dive into this. because that warming, it could possibly stimulate the liver to get it moving because heat is movement, and maybe declog it. Or on the other hand, it could just compound that and add to the liver heat. So I'm going to look into that more. That's fascinating. Ray said you can also capsule oils if you can't tolerate swallowing it. Yes. And just to throw it out there, I wouldn't recommend just willy-nilly taking a tablespoon of castor oil the first time. Definitely work your way up. So instead of, and really probably with any oil, and I like to do this with all medicines, start with less. I'd rather somebody take too little of the medicine and not feel it than take too much and feel it too much, because that puts them off altogether. So start slowly because everybody's digestive system is different. Most people have inflamed digestive systems. Where a tablespoon of an oil, you could have the Hershey squirts for a couple of days. So just start with a little bit and work your way up. But I love the capsule idea. That's very true. I actually have a mother who has been giving her son the honey mixture that I make with the onions and the garlic and a little bit of cayenne pepper, and it has helped. I mean, he was getting strep throat all of the time and had these bacteria, and it's gone, but he doesn't want to take the mixture anymore. He's just fighting it and fighting it. So today she got some capsules and she's going to experiment with putting that mixture in capsules for him to take and see if it gets the same effects. Summer said, I love it, not angry. Should be. My brain is broken in some good ways. Natalie said, yes. So for the blood thinning and for your brother, I would definitely recommend, at least at the very least, starting to cook his food with the cayenne pepper. But one cayenne capsule a day can go a long way. And it is true that if somebody is having a heart attack, and I keep a bottle of cayenne tincture in my bug out bag and in my first aid bag, and if someone's having a heart attack and you drop a dropper full of cayenne pepper in their mouth, it will stop the heart attack. It is awesome. Amy said, castor oil is amazing for my feet, mixed with lavender oil. Yes. Summer said, this is why I don't do cayenne. I know, I know. Lindsay said, I'm new here. I met you and have been using your products myself and love all of it. I have so many questions, excited to learn. So, hi, I'm a hairstylist, and as several clients, people in general are experiencing hair loss. I'm looking to help them. Thank you for having me. Yes, so hair loss. A lot of it comes from malnutrition. Even maybe that malnutrition is contributing to hormone imbalances. Maybe that malnutrition is just not providing enough nutrients to grow the hair. But I would almost bet every time that it's because they're not nourished enough. Another thing is, especially if you're a hairstylist, a lot of products in the hair world are toxic, and this is changing, and more things are being created, and it's awesome. But, hairsprays, shampoos and conditioners, body washes, perfumes, most of these things, it's starting to shift, but most of these things are very toxic to us. They wreck the endocrine system. They cause so many problems. So I would suggest to your clients to check the quality of the products that they're using all the way around. Again, candles, most of the candles that we buy in the store are straight poison. And start reducing those little by little. And then magnesium oil, that helps a lot. I just cut my hair down to here, you guys, maybe 3 months ago, not even, and it has already grown this much. And I do truly believe my biominerals plays a big role in that. It gives the body all 102 minerals that it needs, but I also eat really great food. I've noticed in the vegetarian vegan communities, a lot of vegans that I know have thin hair, and that is because of a nutrient deficiency, protein. And yes, plant proteins are great, but our body has to work harder to create it in the form that our body needs it. Some people do spectacular with that diet, other people don't. I work with a lot of vegans. Their eyes are kind of sunken in and dark, or if they get an injury, it takes them a long time to heal from that injury because I call animal protein first class protein. And it's a little controversial, but hear me out. I think carnivores are just as extreme and a little crazy as vegans. There is this healthy medium. Too much meat, bad for you. No meat at all, not that great for you. So let me think. Does anybody else have something they could add for the hair loss?
I wouldn't say
Natalie,
anything. I wouldn't say anything.
say
Oh,
something,
hair
Jose.
loss. I did like ginkgo and then sawtooth palmetto were a really strong combination, and it really helped. Um, like you could see like in my thinness, you could see the hair growing back, and that was from ginkgo and sawtooth palmetto. And then I do like scalp massage and stuff, and so I think that that's another thing that helps to stimulate that circulation. And I would also use in the scalp massage I used because you gotta have oil to like do it, and I know a lot of people don't like oil stuff, but like the castor oil I would use mixed with another oil so it was not so sticky. And then I would use like tea tree oil and cedarwood with rosemary, work really synergistically to help. um I was actually doing this to help my headaches. But so those were all the things that I was doing. I was really doing them to help with other things, but I did notice that it was creating hair growth. Um there was something else I was thinking, but
What
perimenopause.
form
I
did you
forgot.
take? What form was the saw palmetto in?
Capsule.
All right, because that's good to know. Listen, you guys, saw palmetto is one of the gnarliest tasting herbs. I put a fresh saw palmetto berry in my mouth once, and my mouth went dry immediately, and it felt like it took 3 days to get that taste out of my mouth. But it is a very powerful herb, and it's one of those herbs that is touted as a man's herb. And I really like to get on my soapbox for this one because there is no such thing as a man's herb or a woman's herb. There are herbs that have certain affinities. And one of the reasons why it's touted as a man's herb is because of how great it is at reducing the inflammation in the prostate area. But that prostate area is your lower burner. And the lower burner in Chinese medicine is kind of like from the belly button down to like mid thigh. So it helps to remove inflammation and tone that tissue. So I use saw palmetto for that, but also I work with saw palmetto for that, but also for women with bladder prolapse, uterine prolapse works really well for that. And I have heard cases where it's great for hair, and it could be because of a role it plays in hormone balances. I love your idea, Summer, what you suggested, like with the oils and like a good rosemary infused oil. Rosemary is very stimulating to the hair follicles, and massaging that in. Something that I like to do at least once a week is I will in the morning, I'll have a dropper, and I will just fill my hair with black seed oil, massage it in, put it in a ponytail, and let it sit in there for a few hours and wash it out later. So that's a good practice to have. Let's see.
I had a question about this one.
Yeah.
So I asked this in the community nourishment group and I got some really good feedback. For my friend particularly, she's older, she's post-menopause, so there was a lot of recommendations to try to get her hormones balanced, which I'm gonna work on her. She's a little set in her ways, but we're gonna have a conversation and try to get her hormones balanced. So they suggested wild yam for hormone balance. I just wanted to throw that out there in case Lindsay is dealing with older clients, maybe that's addressing the hormone imbalance might be helpful. But I was wondering, I did like my own kind of side research, and I was really curious about black cohosh for this.
So because she is older, I think black cohosh could help. And I would ask her too, like, does she experience any tension in her neck and her shoulders and her upper back? Because that's a great indicator for black cohosh. Um, I just with younger women, it's too strong, I have found. And not everybody agrees. I don't want everybody to agree with me. That's fine. It's just what I've seen in my practice. But for older women, they just respond well to it. Black cohosh, wild yam. One thing I want to say about wild yam is because it's blown up so much and you just see it everywhere, it's actually on the verge of becoming endangered, which is crazy because it grows so well. It's kind of like a weed, like it'll take over, but it's becoming overconsumed. But
Okay.
it could help. One of my formulas, the Wounded Healer formula, and people are even leaving reviews about it with women like premenopause, postmenopause, perimenopause, you name it. It is helping with their night sweats, with their mood imbalances, with their hair loss, with just all these symptoms that are coming from the menopause. And the herbs that I have in there are holy basil, and holy basil's so great for the endocrine system. Like, you just can't go wrong with holy basil. She's incredible. It's got holy basil, linden, lady's mantle, and hawthorn leaf and flower. So maybe, jot those down, look into those. If she would be open to drinking a tasty tea, black cohosh isn't going to taste the best, but holy basil, linden, some lemon balm in there for her nervous system, some nettles for the nourishment. Let's see.
And I've been taking Wounded Healer for Monday through Friday since I got it from you like 2 weeks ago, I think, maybe 3 weeks ago. And my night sweat stopped after a week.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
really
awesome.
great for that. I love that formula. I had originally crafted that for like people who are super like absorb the emotions from around them and get emotionally overwhelmed, and it just turned out that it works wonders for these types of symptoms.
Yeah.
Let's see what everybody else is saying. Mario said cayenne helps to coagulate blood if you're out in the woods. Cayenne is a good add to your first aid kit. Yes. So cayenne's kind of one of those like cardio modulators. So it helps to strengthen the heart, regulate the blood, strengthen the blood pressure. So like if your blood pressure is high, it can help bring it down. If your blood pressure is low, it can help bring it up. It just has this amazing intelligence to sense what the blood and the heart needs and to provide that. Gloria said, for the honey mixture, we've used plastic syringe, a popsicle stick dip, and sometimes just take a sip. Different ways I've gotten the family to take the honey. Come on. Why you guys don't get any bones? Different ways I've gotten the family to take honey, cayenne, garlic, and red onion. Can I sub yellow onion if I don't have red on hand? Oh, you are brilliant, Gloria. I could just give you a chef's kiss. Mwah, mwah. I am so excited to share this with my friend. Yes, you can substitute with a yellow onion when you have to. If you're substituting with a yellow onion, maybe don't make as much, make enough to get by until you can get a red onion, but it's still going to have that pungency. And that pungency really helps to open the lungs, helps to target bacteria and get them out, increase circulation. So, yes, you can. Natalie said, agreed 100%. Look into Paul Mitchell products. They're turning more organic in their newer series. Paul Mitchell. Never heard of it. I trust you. My mom said, I used castor oil on my hair and it was full of body. Yes. Now, castor oil, remember when you work with it, it's thick, it's goopy, it's a lot. So start with just a little bit and maybe even just focus on massaging it into your scalp. And like Summer said, that's a very important part is if you're putting things topically on your hair, really massage it and stimulate those follicles. Yep, Ashley said, how are you working it through? It's so thick, I haven't been able to figure out this one. So, Natalie, if you want to jump on and share with us.
I actually use a tincture bottle to get the oil into my scalp because if you just pour it in, it'll just it
Yeah.
doesn't get to your scalp because it's so thick. So I use an actual tincture bottle like this. This is an actual tincture, but I have another one that actually has the oil, and I'll have the oil and I just put it right down to my scalp and smoosh it in.
Yep, that's what I do with the black seed oil. And I'll kind of just like
Yeah.
start right here and slowly squeeze as I pull it back and then massage it in and then go to another spot. But I spend probably at least 20 minutes in the mirror. I take my time. It's really meditative for me. And I just little by little put it on there. Ray said DHT buildup can also play a role, especially when testosterone is higher. Yep. Hormones more than likely are always playing a role. And again, it could be because we're exposed to just so much stuff.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Please.
So, um, I struggled with this a lot, like with the hair loss and everything, and it was definitely a hormone imbalance. And the biggest thing too, before I was able to address it internally, um, was that I wasn't washing my hair as often because I thought the more I washed my hair, the more my hair would fall out. And I was actually causing more issues because the DHT was building up because I'm at that age. I am definitely
And
at
will
that
you
age.
tell everybody what DHT is?
Okay, so DHT is a I can't really say it. There's so many words I can't say. Um the it's it has the word testosterone in it, but I can't exactly tell you
Never
what
mind. Never
it
mind.
is.
Continue.
It's actually a sex hormone, and it what happens too is like when our testosterone it converts testosterone into DHT, and it it builds up on your head. That's why a lot of men, I think, go positive, other than the hereditary thing. But as we get older, I know for me, estrogen drops, and then there's more testosterone there, and the less I was washing. Sorry, y'all. I did therapy today. My brain is mush. Um, the less I washed my hair, the more the DHT builds up, and the DHT is a problem. That is a lot of the problem of why the hair fall and pattern baldness and all that kind of stuff. And your body wants the DHA, which promotes the hair growth. But when I tell people, like, when I talk to a lot of people that come to me, I say, like, have you quit washing your hairs often? And they're like, well, yeah, because it's like falling out. And it's usually women around my age, and other than addressing the nutritional stuff, doing that right now, what you need to do, or the hormonal imbalance right now, is don't do that. And no, you don't have to wash your hair every single day, and it get dried out and all that other kind of stuff. I tell a lot of people to just use apple cider vinegar rinse when you're not washing it. Take an apple cider vinegar rinse and just really massage your head really good and get that DHT, build up off the hair. So that helps
Glad you
me.
mentioned the vinegar. I I make that liquid life vinegar that I make with a bunch of herbs with high mineral content. I've started using that. I made a mistake once and I thought I was making my pain spray, and I take the alcohol extract of the herbs and mix it with magnesium oil, but I accidentally put the liquid life vinegar in, and I was like, "Oh man, great. Now I've got this big jar." So once a week, and this is what I try to do, I will lather my hair up in that, but I don't let it sit very long. I let it sit for like 20 minutes the first time, and it burned my scalp. Not like a physical burn, but it was hot. Um, and put it in there. So thank you for that. Apple cider vinegar would be very, very helpful.
The pine cone ginger too, the awapui, I have that growing. I finally got some. That's really good too, to just put that to wash your hair with that. That stuff is amazing.
It is, and anybody in Florida for sure, I know that you can grow that. Let's see. All right. I think Lindsay said rosemary is a topic to her clients. Yeah, and they can cook with rosemary. You can get the rosemary essential oil and smell it. I am not big. I'm actually against consuming essential oils, and I will argue with the best ones about it. They're just like a bomb to your microbiome, but they are incredible for smelling. Those senses really do activate your olfactory senses and create physiological changes in your body. You could get a pot of water on the stove boiling if you don't have an oil diffuser, and put, a few drops into there, and that aroma will fill the house. You can throw a handful of dried rosemary into the pot, and that aroma will fill the house. You can do a herbal steam with thyme, rosemary, even some lavender. And if you're not familiar with herbal steams, you just get the pot of water on the stove boiling. Once it's at a rolling boil, you turn the heat off, throw a handful of your herbs in there. I like to mix mine up with a wooden spoon really quick. I put a towel over my head and I get as close as I can to the pot without the steam burning me. And I just inhale for like 5 minutes. And you are stimulating everything in your head, your lymphatic system, your veins, your sinuses. So that stimulation is really important. And again, I'm so big on it. We want to stimulate blood flow to the area, deliver nutrients, carry away waste, restore the tissue. Let's see. So castor oil. Gloria says she has pine cone ginger, but her pine cones haven't grown. Does anybody have any tips on how to grow the pine cone ginger?
Yeah,
Oh.
my suggestion would be adding some banana peels.
Okay.
I noticed that that potassium or whatever is just shoots into flour and most of my fruits too. I give
So
them a
do you
good
just
batch
throw
of
the
that.
banana peels at the ground, or do you put them in a jar and make banana peel water?
Right. So I do both. I have an abundance of bananas, so I'm fortunate to be able to throw banana peels in the soil about 3-4 inches down, and then I'll dry out a couple of handfuls of banana peels, then rehydrate them for 24 hours, blend that up, and put that to a 5-gallon bucket in water.
Nice. Why do you dry them? I've always just like had the jar by my sink, and when I peel the banana, I put it in there, and after a couple of weeks, I'll just pour that water in the garden.
So I dry them because I tend to just eat bananas and throw them down. And it's just how my life circle works, Cam. I don't know if it works better, but
Okay.
so because that worked one part of my life in one chapter, I'm like, oh, I'll just continue that. It works for me and my plants.
I
So
love it. Ashley,
yeah.
I think you had a recommendation too.
I just wanted to add that they require a ton of water. You have to keep the soil moist at all times. So if that's too hard to do, like if they're in the ground and you're wasting a lot of water, I would say dig them up, put them in a deep pot. Just make sure you plant them just as deep as they were when you dug them out of the ground. And sometimes just putting it in a pot helps it to retain the water better.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. Gloria said, thank you. I'm hoping I'm not missing anything. Jose, were you going to say
Nice try.
something?
Come on, Jose.
No, I'm good. You guys lost me about the hair and all that, you know.
Oh, I won't say anything. Just go rub some castor oil on your
Yeah, no, nothing works. No, try that.
Hey, look at Mario.
Yeah.
Get that dude some castor oil. All right, you guys, I'm not seeing any more questions. Does anybody have any more questions?
I have a question. You talk a lot about prebiotics, and I didn't realize that we could get prebiotics from plants. So, do you mind just naming off a few that are high in prebiotics? And if you have any other digestive health herbs that are great,
Yes. So the
mention
two
those.
best herbs for the prebiotics are going to be elecampane and burdock. But here's the kicker. So you want to make a tea out of these, and these are both roots. And also, elecampane does not taste good. And you can experiment with different ways and different herbs to put it in. And if you mix it with like astragalus and some licorice, maybe some hawthorn berries, it can help. And then the burdock root too. So you'll put these roots into the pot of water, and when it's roots and or barks or more dense plant parts, you want to make what's called a decoction. Whereas with like leaves and flowers, you make an infusion. You just pour the hot water over these because they're lighter materials. It doesn't take as much heat or pressure to bust through the cell walls. But with barks and roots, the herbal soup decoction, you'll put the herbs in the water first and then bring that water to a boil. And then once it's boiling, you'll put it on a low simmer for about 15-20 minutes. But to get the prebiotics from those two plants, there's going to be sediment that settles down at the bottom. And that's what you want. That's where the prebiotics live, is in that sediment at the bottom of the tea. So those, and then like when I make my elecampane root tincture, I do dual extraction. So I do the alcohol with heat, and then I make a tea. And when you see my elecampane tincture in the bottle, there is sediment down at the bottom. People have got to shake that up. And now because it's an alcohol, you're not getting as much, but you're still getting something. But the tea is going to be the best way to get all of it. And then just other things for the digestive system. I know we spoke on fennel in the last one, so I won't go on to that again. Marshmallow root is one of my absolute favorites. And the way that I like to work with it is a cold brew. So I will take a quart jar and I will put 2 heaping tablespoons, probably more. That's my general recommendation, but I put a lot in there. I fill it with cold water. I put the lid on it, I shake it up, I stick it in the refrigerator overnight. And what that does is all night long, that cold water is extracting this thick mucilaginous content from it. And if somebody has really inflamed bowels, you can feel it almost immediately when you're drinking it. It goes in and just coats the digestive system. Slippery elm is incredible for helping to also soothe inflamed tissue, but increase the amount of nutrients absorbed. But again, slippery elm is one of those herbs that is endangered right now. There's actually a fungal disease, I want to say. I'm not 100% on what it is. There's a name for it too that is taking over the trees right now. And there are organizations and people fighting really hard to save the trees, but it's a big problem right now. So I do have slippery elm, but I only give it to people with like Crohn's or IBS, or colitis, really severe. Marshmallow root works just fine. If if you don't have Crohn's. And
So did you say slippery elm increases nutrient absorption?
yep.
Really? I thought it did the opposite because it coats.
Nope.
Ah, that's interesting.
And it's not even that it's coating, it's strengthening the mucous membranes. And so I could see that being like, thinking that it's coating, but those mucous membranes, they line our digestive tissue, and oftentimes they deteriorate. They're getting broken down from toxins. They get loaded with toxins. They get gunky. So slippery elm's helping to kind of clear that out and restore the health of the mucous membrane. And the bacteria and microbes and all the things that live within that mucus lining play a huge role in absorbing the nutrients. So I think that is, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty confident that that is part of the reason why it helps to increase nutrient absorption. It's actually categorized as a nutritive. I helped somebody beat tuberculosis last year, and slippery elm was one of the key herbs. That and fenugreek. Fenugreek is also a great nutritive herb that helps to increase nutrient absorption. And it's not a bad tea. And I always tell people, don't take my word on the taste of things because I literally eat dirt. But like Summer was saying, and I do believe that our body, when we work with things that are good for us, even when it tastes bad, if you stay consistent, after a while, either you get used to it, or I believe your body starts to recognize it as something beneficial, and that your body and your taste buds will actually start to change towards it, where it becomes more pleasant. You just have to kind of get through that. And I don't know that elecampane is ever going to be one of those ones that your body's like, yeah, but it is so good for the Latin name for elecampane is Inula helenium, and inulin is that prebiotic fiber that is feeding the probiotics, and burdock that has it too. So that sediment at the bottom, that's actually inulin settling down at the bottom. Let's see, any of you other wonderful people want to add in on just your go-to favorite things for the digestive system? Oh, I love you, Becky. Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
For me, Cam, your iron stomach tea works very well, and the Nourish one as well. Those are the two that I take regularly.
I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the leading herb in iron stomach is the centauri. And centauri is so bitter. And I want you guys to always remember this, like bitter is so important. And as a Western nation, we're becoming more and more adverse to the taste of bitter because our taste buds have been ruined by sugar. But that bitter taste, when you taste it, it activates your gallbladder, it activates your liver, it helps them to break things down, especially if there's gunk in those organs, it helps to break them down. And the Centauri is the reason why I named that blend Iron Stomach, because it's helping to strengthen your intestinal tissue so much. Also, in that blend, I have marshmallow leaf. And the leaf also helps to, I like to use the leaf more for like restoring the tissue, whereas the root, and the root does it too, but the root is just so soothing to the tissue. What else do I have in that blend? I know I've got some licorice, meadow sweet. I named my cat Meadow Sweet. I put Meadow Sweet in all of my tea.
Wait. Back it up. How is the leaf different than the root for marshmallow?
Well, they have different constituents. Like the leaf is nowhere near as demulsifying as the root. And I think that's one of the biggest differences there. That's why the root, and don't get me wrong, the leaf can definitely soothe as well. But the root, like, and make a cold brew of the root and the leaf. And the leaf, you're still going to get a little bit of that thickness, but nowhere near as much as the root. And with the iron stomach blend, I like that to be prepared hot. And when you make you can still get benefits from the marshmallow root hot, especially for the kidneys, but you're just annihilating that demulsifying effect for the most part. Does that make sense?
So basically, the leaf is effective, but just not as strong
Not as
and
demulsifying.
demulsifying. Okay.
Yep.
And so, you would look at that basically as far as in like you'd want the root to soothe and the leaf more to restore.
Yep. And now
Gotcha.
don't get me wrong, the root coming in and soothing that inflammation is allowing more nutrient absorption, is decreasing irritation. So the root is going to restore also. I just and it's just I don't even have like the scientific basis right now to tell you exactly which constituents are doing what. It's just come from years of working with them and doing different ways. I didn't want to put the root in there because of the heat. I feel like all of the qualities that the marshmallow root would be bringing to the digestive system would kind of be ruined, not completely, but a lot because of the heat. But I will make actually one of my next blogs, I will dive into that and make a article about the leaf and the roots and the different constituents. And so a lot of plants, people use the whole plant, the leaves, the stems, the flowers, the roots. And just like in this case, where the root is super demulsifying, the leaf is still going to have a little bit of demulsifying properties. So the parts of the plants can differ, but oftentimes they share a lot of similarities because it's the same plant. And then let me see, what else do we have in that blend? Licorice root. That's another one that's just really soothing to all types of tissue. But I also just put it in that blend to help with the taste. Some people love the taste, some people don't. It's super, super bitter. And then Jose mentioned the Nourish blend too. And that's got, what's that have? That has nettles, red clover, oat straw, alfalfa, chickweed, and red roses. And part of the reason why that's probably helping your digestive system is because it's helping to eliminate toxins and it's also increasing nutrients. There's so many nutrients in that blend. But again, anything that when you're going in and reducing inflammation in your gut and increasing, that's going to increase nutrient absorption. Let's see. Let's see if anybody else said anything. Thank you, Summer. I'm so glad that you joined. I love you. You too, Amy. All right, you guys. So what do you think? Any more questions? Oh, Triphala. Ashley, Triphylla, also called Triphala. This is one of I love this formula so much. It's an Ayurvedic formula and it stands for 3 berries. And the berries in this formula are Amalaki, Bibataki, and Haritaki. And I tell people, I'm like, think about it kind of like blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries. But what this does, I take 3 a couple hours after dinner and at least an hour before bed because you want to take it with a full glass of water because Triphylla is helping to it will pool water from your body because it needs water to move gunk through the digestive tract, really get it out. And it's actually like a whole body restorative. All the mucous membranes in your body get restored and supported from Triphylla. But if you don't drink that
Spell
whole
that?
glass
I'm
of water,
sorry.
yeah, Triphala. And if you don't drink water with it, you will wake up thirstier than you have ever been in your life. And yep, Amy said she uses that every night. It helps to sleep, but also helps to regulate bowels. For those of you that don't know, I had Crohn's for 15 years and I had to remedy it myself with food, lifestyle, and herbs. And Triphylla has just been that clutch. I love it so much. So Triphylla, yeah. Yeah, some of my faves. Anybody else want to add anything? Something that you work with?
You're just so amazing. I'm gonna jump off because I have another call, but I just appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love
Seriously,
you, and I'm gonna
so
send you
amazing.
Mario's number.
Definitely, and just really, you're just such a gift to the world. Thank you so much for doing you. It's a blessing.
I love you.
Love you too.
All right, everybody. Unless anybody has any more questions, we can get off. And I'm just going to let you know really quick. We have the next Foraging for Friends this coming Sunday at Fort Caroline in Jacksonville at 10 a.m. If you want to check this out, go to communitynourishment.org/gatherings and it will be there. It's free. I pay somebody to come out and teach us how to identify plants. There's so many people there, so we'll identify the plant, and then a lot of people will share about how you can use it as food or medicine or colors and weaving baskets and all sorts of stuff. It's a really good time. So that's this Sunday, the 26th. And then the next live Q&A is already scheduled for Thursday, November 6th. And again, I think everybody here got a text from me, so I'm just going to keep texting you. And if anybody doesn't want to receive the text, you're going to have to block me. And anything else before we sign off?
Just thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming and creating this space. So thank you. All right, I'll see you guys on the interwebs.
Bye,
Mwah.
Cam. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela.